Alright, so we had a maintenance last night. We did have a semi-surprise of 4-star Magicite. But I will get to that when we get to that. And I'll probably be doing that later on in the stream. Just having fun doing stuff other than Merilith. Even though I'm defeating Merilith at the moment, so that is fun in its own. Alright, we have event banners translated. Type 0 event, obviously. We knew that was coming. Final Fantasy 14 event. Actually, I'm going to pull up my website. Because everything that we had translated, I have already updated on here. So, Type 0 event, Final Fantasy 1 event, Final Fantasy 14, Tactics, and Final Fantasy 8. That is it. I am going to assume, even though we do not have, unfortunately, dates mined yet. Hopefully we do in the future. Hopefully either I learn how to mine the dates, the event timestamps, or someone else releases them. Then we can talk about those. But for now, I'm just going to assume that these events appear in the same order that they appeared for Japan, which would be this order, even though it's a little weird, because I believe Final Fantasy 14, let me see, this was event number 152, and Final Fantasy 1 was event number 153, but we did mine the date during the last maintenance for Final Fantasy 14 and saw that it appeared on February 7th. So that's actually a lot more... Yeah, I just said it again. That's a lot more concrete than the rest of these dates. So because we know that Final Fantasy Type 0 happens on January 24th, because it has already happened, that leaves a gap of 1 week on January 31st. And so what I did was I slid event number 153 forward to fill that gap. And then I would assume that this is event number 154. Yes, this is event number 154. And that will appear there. So all that's really happened here is these swapped places. This is 152, 153, 154. And that's the way I'm going to assume that it's going to roll. And as you've seen with the Onion Knight event and now with the Type 0 event, that events are probably going to be on Wednesdays from now on. That's why we have Type 0 at January 24th, Final Fantasy 1 at January 31st, Final Fantasy 14 January 7th, and 14th and 21st and so on. All Wednesdays. No more Thursday things. That is assumed because the only timestamp that we have that says that definitively is the Final Fantasy 14 event. It says, yes, February 7th. So that is going to be on a Wednesday. So we'll see. We'll see when January 30th rolls around. But I'm assuming that we're going to be moving to Wednesday events from now on. Is there any point in doing part 2 of the event? Yes, absolutely. The rewards are not balls. They're absolutely worth the stamina that you would spend on them. Okay, so back to the mega thread. So what did we cover there on the event list? Type 0, 14, Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy VIII, Training's End. Hone your abilities to face the gauntlet. I believe Japan had that. So Training's End is something that I believe is going to happen with Endless Battle. Endless Battle is that guy, the one who keeps on reviving himself. Well, what he's going to do in this fight is he's just going to keep reviving himself, and you basically it's an endurance match. You fight him for as long as it takes. So it's just a special event. Unfortunately, because we don't have timestamps mined, we don't know when that's going to happen. But Training's End and Endless Battle should both be appearing together. Crystal Tower is... We just did it. Or I just did it. And so, kind of, as far as event banners go, pretty low-key maintenance. Not like the Greg match, because Greg doesn't fight back. I believe this one does, because that's the endurance part of it. You need to survive as long as you can while, you know, getting through and doing the most damage that you can. Relic banners expected. Crystal Tower 9, 12, 6, and 13 just did that. Dungeon update lucky. We're going to be getting a dungeon update at the beginning of February for Final Fantasy 6, 12, 9, and 7. Like most dungeon update lucky draws, probably pretty bad. No, too far out, Sketch. Now here's some interesting stuff that was mined. New Final Fantasy 14 multiplayer stamps with the event that'll be on February 7th. Got a Frit, Thou Art Strong Mortal. Titan, Unending, Unyielding. And most people's personal favorite out of the trio is Garuda. Ha he. Just, I think the best stamps are just utter nonsense, and this is pretty nonsense. Everything else here is related to Magicite, which we already know and is already released. Magicite Inheritance. Just images that talk about inheritance. I actually really like this image. It goes very well into the elemental scale and how imperils work. Hello, Sibby. So the plus counts as a 10% increment. So this is 10%. 1 is a full imperil. A full imperil is 20%. So a full imperil, 1, with a plus, that's a minor, is 30%. 40, 50, 60. And the other way around. Just with the sword and the downward arrow denoting a reduction in damage. Nice, Sibby. Yeah, I do need to finish the original. Abilities, we knew this one was coming. In fact, it's already here. Because the Final Fantasy Type 0 event is here. This is our 5-star Earth Spellblade that does single target damage instead of the area effect. Piece of crap that we've been using up until now. An Assault Saber will be debuting with the Final Fantasy Tactics event. Because Orlando would very much like a nice, sexy, non-defense-based 5-star ability, and eventually he will also get a an Earth version of this as well. So what Assault Saber is a 5 single target holy attack for knights that reduces your defense by 30%. So instead of doing the whole Divine Cross plus Guardbringer combination, to get your 5 hits that way, you can use this instead if you would like to not have to deal with the defense requirement. Guardbringer is stronger, but Assault Saber is just less complicated. There's going to be times when you use both, there's going to be times when you use one, and there's going to be times when you use the other. No Strider. 4-star Magicite banners, well, we already see these in game, so... Oh, they're pretty sexy. I like them. What? Oh, that's one of the 4-star Magicites that dropped from Tiamat. Sylph, right? I think. No. Fairy? Whatever, I forget. It was Sylph, okay. Should trust my instincts. Okay, so untranslated relic banners. None of the pickup banners were translated. Oh yeah, but as noted here, keep in mind some of the stuff here could be last minute translated, like the water pickup was. The water pickup was not translated until it actually happened, I don't think. But we did have the timestamp mines. Really, God, it is really important that we get those timestamps. I feel like doing a debriefing of this maintenance is just so empty without having those event timestamps. The elemental pickups would be very nice. The water pickup, I personally think, was a really nice water banner. Untranslated banners, but when people say, or when the miners say untranslated banners, I know you can't see it on the screen, but this is UOSB and Flash Soulbreak. What they mean is there's two different websites that all of this information is pulled from. One is the Japanese version of the website. That's where the Japanese client pulls all of their images and stuff from, and you see that and stuff in game. But sometimes untranslated things like this is being pulled from the global client. Usually it's done in preparation. They put this into the global client and then they translate it after. So expect this to happen in either the next maintenance or the maintenance that prepares for 3rd anniversary in March. So I think this is a little early to be put in the game, but there's no reason why it shouldn't be. And daily missions were also put into the game. Well, the banner was. Any idea when? No idea. No timestamps. We don't know even if we are getting them. We just know that the Japanese banners were added to the global client. That's it. It doesn't really say much of anything. Also, series Happy Gacha. This is we have no idea why this was added. This is for 3rd anniversary. What happens is every day leading up to the anniversary itself, which I believe is March 25th, we got a new draw, a 5 mithril triple draw with a guaranteed 5-star, which are some of the best value draws in the entire game, and I would definitely suggest that everyone do them. And this is one of them. The last one. Most of them are for a single realm, but for some reason they decided to do Type 0 tactics in 15, all in the same one. Stinks because there's a lot of good things in all 3 of these realms. So it stinks that, you know, the pool was diluted into a single triple draw. But why that one got added to the game, or added to the global client instead of the others, I have no idea. Oh, they started with 15-0 in tactics and counted down to 1? Gotcha. Thank you. Oh, in Christmas countdown. Well, this is not the Christmas event. This would, this is, 3rd anniversary is what would have happened for Japan in September. Most likely Lemonade, but they're only 5 Mithril, so it's fine. Yep, you want 75 Mithril because they're going to be, 15 of them. Yes, blank.